Welcome back to Champion News Talk Radio, brought to you by championnews.net. This is Carol Parisi. Jack Roser and myself today are speaking with Representative Tom Morrison, and we were talking about Leadership Institute and training, walking precincts, and where the magic is made.
Yeah.
Continue, Tom.
One of the things the Republican Party has not done well, at least in my lifetime or in my knowledge, is the really effective ground game, and that is going door to door, doing the hard work of getting to know your neighbors, getting to know fellow taxpayers, and finding common ground with them. I mean, when I was going door to door, I didn't always agree with people. If they wanted to talk about issues, we might not always agree, but at least I knew where they stood, and for the most part, this is a center-right country. This is a center-right state. This is a center-right county, believe it or not. Now, maybe the city of Chicago weights it toward the other end, but if you come out here in the suburbs...
Maybe not as well.
Maybe not. You're right.
Because we're getting active in the city of Chicago. We've set up a Spanish center on the north side, and we're about to put one in on the south side. And we're finding there's a lot of dissatisfaction in Chicago. People are almost afraid to say they're a Republican because the Democrats have been vicious in taking control of the whole political process.
Well, their messaging is more clear and concise.
Well, their message is very clear. If you're looking for a job in Chicago, the answer you get from the politicians is, we don't want nobody sent. That's a clue to the mentality that's behind the way they've been running the city.
But I think the discontent is rising because the Democrat Party owns these fiscal problems. We have at the county level, at the state level, and we need to do a better job of educating our neighbors about that.
You said a very important thing there. You said the Democrats own this financial problem. We have an awful financial problem, and we also have a problem of reputation in Illinois. There's two things that you could ask. My Abyssinian goat herders are one of my advisors, and that organization says, yes, everybody knows that Illinois is the most corrupt state in the Union. And the goat herders also said, yes, we understand that Illinois has the worst financial problem with pensions of any of the 50 states. That's the twin disasters we have here. And the author of all those troubles has been the Democrat Party that's been in power so long. I'm an old man, and I can think back to when I was first involved in business in 1950. And in those days, there wasn't anything in the world as powerful as the industrial complex of Cook County. It had twice the output of any county in the United States, and it stood out above the world in the things that it could do. The saying was, if you can't get a job in Chicago, you can't get a job anywhere. It was the most marvelous place to go and have a career in the whole world. And look what they've done to it. The Democrats have been in charge most of the time through the whole thing, and they've been downstate in charge of that as well. And they are the authors of this trouble, and they must be ousted. And you've got the right reaction to the disaster that has happened to this state. We shouldn't be ruffling around the edges of whether or not the teachers can strike. My God, we've got a horrible financial problem with these pensions that have occurred largely in the education system. I mean, that we have pensions of $200,000, $300,000, and $400,000 a year starting at age 55. That'll bankrupt you.
Oh boy. Tom, what is being done in Springfield for this pension reform?
Backing up, it's something that I ran on. I was frustrated as a citizen, as a taxpayer, seeing the problem that exists, but not seeing willingness to really go after it and address it, and not to demonize any one particular group. I mean, you can't just demonize unions and say, well, it's all their fault. Look at the General Assemblies that created this mess.
They made the policy to create the mess.
One of the things I learned in my business, we're a service business as opposed to manufacturing, but one of the things I learned as a service business owner, do not overpromise and underdeliver. I guess that applies to anything in life, but don't overpromise and underdeliver. And that is routinely what the state has done: overpromised, overcommitted. Many legislators have promised, oh, sure, we can fund this, and we can start this agency, and this is a great program, let's do this, let's do this. Well, meanwhile, the liabilities are stacking up, stacking up, and stacking up, and now we're at a crisis point.
You know, they say they've been spending money like drunken sailors down there. As a former drunken sailor, I object to that. Yeah. We were spending our own money.
Your own money.
They are spending our money.
Right.
Well, clearly now these teachers are not at fault because of this Beck Amendment, they have to put a certain amount into unions. And I've been speaking to a lot of the teachers that have no choice, and they're fearful that they're going to be losing their pensions. And I know there was an initiative back before the General Assembly closed to do some type of three-tier pension reform.
Right. Well, that's what the point I'm trying to make is it's pointless to just try to play the blame game. There is a lot of blame to pass around. Let's just deal with the facts. The facts are these systems are going broke. We cannot sustain more tax increases to try to build them up. We cannot continue to borrow money. The state's credit rating is in the tank, and
just the pensions in the K-12 system have run up a debt of over $80 billion. Many people think it's twice that. It can never be paid.
No.
The matter of fact is, I tend to blame the teachers union, the IEA. Not tend to, I do blame them. I'm assigning blame to them because they not only fashioned this crazy pay and pension system, but they did it by full complicity with the Democrat Party. I don't call them Democratic because they aren't. They're just plain Democrats. And they aren't your father's Democrat.
No.
This thing is corrupt. And they had an unholy alliance with the teachers union that provided the money and the people on the ground and the political power of the IEA, which has got the Democrat Party completely in their thrall. And so they have precipitated this thing. Think back, in 1998, the excesses of the pension fund got so huge that they transferred it from a local obligation where it belongs. I mean, the local people, under the influence of the union and those crazy contracts and one thing another, they got to where they couldn't pay it locally, and they transferred it in 1998 to the state. And so now the state has been working in conjunction with Mike Madigan, and he's the toughest guy down there, a real political genius for the Democrat. And between the union and the Democrats, they own this problem.
Yeah, but remember, voters have put these people in office.
Right, it's using legislative policy and regulatory
we can point fingers to a lot of different groups. I mean, the voters should have been paying more attention to all this instead of, just... People are busy, I get that, but we as free citizens must participate in our government. We have a representative form of government, and so it is incumbent upon citizens to pay attention and to take action and to either run for office or elect leaders who will make some of these hard decisions instead of just trying to make friends with everybody. Well,
I think
it doesn't
that's
work.
What's actually started happening since February of 2009, and I think folks to have had, if you will, this awakening. I call it the Great Awakening.
It is.
It
is.
Tom, I understand that you disowned your pension when you got elected. What was it you did there?
I opted out of the General Assembly pension plan.
What a remarkable thing you did. People talk about term limits, that, these guys have been down there too long and they should be limited to 6 years or something. But the reason they're down there forever is because of the mounting mammoth pensions they too get. So the people that are supposed to hold these pensions from going bankrupt, which is what it's doing, the average teacher their biggest enemy is the teachers union, because their pensions of all of the teachers are in peril because the system is bankrupt. And the guys down there are building their own pensions, and they are in no position to say, oh, naughty teachers union, because the two are complicit in doing it. And so many of the people down there, representatives and senators, are staying on in order to build their pensions.
Well, I learned in my...
And they don't have the heart to take on the teachers' union.
I learned from my parents, and I also learned in running my own business that the best kind of leadership is leadership by example. And so I wanted to tell the unions, basically, a change has to be made, and I'm willing to step forward and be the first.
You know what? We're going to hear more about this when we come back from the break with Tom Morrison.